If you were my client and you were interested in getting a promotion in your tech PM role, this is exactly what I would tell you. First of all, we have to understand what the rubric for leveling looks like in your company. Depending if you're working for a big tech company or a smaller company or a startup or something in between, you can have a different understanding, internal company understanding of what levels even mean. So your first job is to figure out, what does the company even think about the leveling system? What do the different levels mean? You have to find the internal documents if those exist. And if they don't, you can ask the team where this information is in the company and whether it's even in a written format. Step one is just understanding, what are we actually dealing with? I call this rubric. You need to understand the company rubric. How does the company think about level 4 versus level 5 versus level 6? Let's say you're in a big tech company and the rubric is pretty well understood. What you're usually going to find is an internal document that says, here is how Google, let's say, here's how we think about L5 product manager. Here are the skills that you need to demonstrate. Here is the scope. And then maybe here is the specific experience or maybe actual deliverables that we need to show at this level. Each one is going to have subpoints, and this is exactly what we're going to work through in the rest of this video. But step one is just copy that over to your own personal document. You're going to create a spreadsheet that basically says, here is what it means to be my level, L5, let's say, and here's what it means to be L+1. Or if you don't have the level numbers, it might be, here's what it means to be a senior PM, and here's what it means to be a group PM. You want to visually be able to see what your level looks like and what your current performance looks like. And what we're going to be talking about here is creating a promo readiness document for yourself that you're going to be referencing in order to build the case for promotion. And then we're going to leverage that exact doc to actually go ahead and get promoted. Understand the rubric, understand what it takes, and understand where you currently are. So you should write in for every single element your current state and how you can prove it. Let's say the scope of impact has to be cross-org at the higher level. Where are you currently? You're working in one org, so write that down. So there's a gap. We want to understand these gaps because we want to make the case that you are now operating under L+1, meaning you're doing all the things that the company says is required of the level above you. And that's the best way that the company can know if this person's already executing at L+1, then they are misleveled. So we just give them the promotion. It makes sense. So you've got your rubric written out at length. Now let's talk a little bit about what are the likely components of this rubric. Well, first let's take the case of what happens if you work in a startup and it's not well understood. You don't have an internal guideline of what that rubric is. You're going to have to create one and then bring it to your manager for review and approval in order to make the case to go to L+1. But let's assume you've got the rubric. Now let's run through some common elements you can usually see in these rubrics. So the first one is this concept of scope. Scope refers to the surface area of the things that you service or work on as a product manager. And scope you can also think of in terms of how many different people, organization, departments, groups of people are involved in actually delivering this thing. The second thing is the skills section. Demonstrated PM skills. Maybe it's communication, verbal, written, maybe it's stakeholder management, maybe it's strategy, product management skills, like core skills. Do you have to unlock certain skills at certain levels? Probably. As you go up in levels, you're going to have to lead bigger and broader teams. You're going to have to deal with more complexity. So laying out a strategy, like a strategic focus over the next year or multiple years is going to be more and more difficult. Whereas again, if you're starting out for a feature, laying out a vision or a strategy for a feature is much simpler. Nonetheless, you should write out every skill you found either internally or you've discussed with your manager is part of what the company thinks a high level or an L+1 PM would be operating in. For every one of these skills, you should have a self-assessment, a manager's assessment, meaning that after you put this whole document together, you're going to go and review it with a manager and get their buy-in. Next to each skill and your self-assessment and the manager's assessment, write out the gap if one exists. And then you have to write out what the proof point is for that skill. Let's move on to the next thing, which is the artifacts. Your artifacts are your general representation of your work as a PM at that level. These might be your PRDs, your initial concept docs, decisions, launches, announcements, brainstorming sessions, effectively your work product. By and large, they're alignment tools. Those are the very tools, like I said, in those Google promo reviews, we would actually look and we would see, okay, is vision represented here? Is strategy represented here? Is anyone else contributing to this document? These are your artifacts. We don't only need them to exist. Other people need to have opined on them or approved them. The next element is the advocate space. This is your cross-functional support group. This should start from your manager, of course, your high-level product leaders, your team leads, anyone else that you work with, especially higher-level folks. So the way to think about these advocates is you cannot come up with them when you're going up for promo. You have to do this significantly in advance. You have to be proactive about it. It takes a long time to build the advocate groups that you actually need in order to have the promo successfully pass. It starts with you mapping out your list of supporters. When you, as a PM, start a new organization or a new level, new team, I will usually ask you to create a list of people. And for a product manager, it might be a list of like 20, 30, 40, 50 people that you work with on a given day or like in a given week. But there's only going to be 10 or 15 or 20 of these who are going to be your high-level potential advocates. Identify them early on so that they can be your advocates because they have seen your work. You have helped them somehow. When you have your POC list really well understood and internalized and you come back to it every week or so, you know that you should be investing your time working with the people that are on this list and also doing projects that can help you and the people on this list. Now, let's talk a little bit about the detractors. Where do we get detractors from? Detractors can be either blind spots for us, because when we put together our POCs, we just missed some folks that are going to be in those promo reviews. They can tip their hand on the scale the other way. After the promo review process goes, they can just raise a flag and say, you know what, this person didn't follow up on this thing, and they worked with my team, and they said that they had a bad experience. So what's the solution here? We actually have to know who is our list of characters. Who else is on this list? Maybe that's not on your advocate list, but is a senior level stakeholder, and they don't necessarily have anything positive to say to us. So they could be blind spots, like I said, but we don't also know whether they're going to say anything negative, and they could. The only real way to ensure they say something positive is to know that they are your advocates, because you need the support to be unanimous in places like Google and Facebook in a lot of ways. One aspect that gets reviewed when you're going up for promo is your impact. As a product manager, you're evaluated for the impact that you have on the customers and fundamentally the impact that you have on the business. Your job as a PM is always try to be in the revenue part of the business, or at least in the profitability part of the business, because otherwise it's going to be very, very difficult, if not impossible, for you to demonstrate impact. This is another reason why PCA is so important as a partner for very proactive and high ambition product managers, because you need to know what you don't anticipate. On the impact side of things, you just need to be able to explain and show what the impact was on the customer experience, which hopefully led to an impact on the revenue, which is on the business side. Pretty much any promo discussion is ultimately going to center on this impact. If you don't have the impact, then the promo kind of doesn't continue, just right there. So make sure you understand what the impact of your work is or will be. When we're talking about these advocates and detractors, it's also important to understand the concept of visibility. Visibility is something you're going to need to work on constantly if you are proactively trying to go up for promo. Visibility means that you've got updated docs, roadmaps, you are sending out launch emails, you're sending out weekly updates, and you should look to spread the message of everything that you and your team are doing with a constant drumbeat. Use it also to throw out some love to your team, and the more love to your team you throw out, the more people will add other people to the email thread, and it's going to have on kind of take on a life of its own. This visibility element is one of the most important things to nail early and continuously. Of course, it goes hand in hand with all the other stuff that we've been talking about. You kind of can't have one without the other. This is what it takes to have a successful promo. And the last thing I'm going to say about this is this whole package, everything we've been talking about, you should own it, but it should live in a standalone doc, the Promo Readiness Doc for you. And you should let your manager know as soon as possible, hey, here's how I think about the rubric. Here's how I think about the scope. Here's how I think about my impact. Here's the skill set, the attributes that I want to demonstrate. Here's my cross-functional group of advocates that I assume I'm going to build. What do you think? So you've done a ton of the work for your manager. Managers do not like to do this. They do not like to help their team grow their career because of how much work is required to make it happen. But if you own it and you say, is this accurate? What do you think? What do you think about my self-assessment? And a lot of times you're going to catch your manager by surprise because they have not thought about it. They're just used to doing vague promises. Oh, if you just keep on delivering, you're just really good. I mean, you're really delivering very quickly here, and you're really onboarding rapidly, a lot faster than I'd like. Listen to how they talk. If you don't hear specificity in the things that they're talking about, you're not going to make it for promo. You're just not going to make it because They can be super vague in these conversations. And then when it comes time to the promo committee, the question is like, what exactly was the impact? They're going to say, oh, this person delivered 50 million in ARR. Okay, what about this person? To be honest with you, I don't know. That's what they're going to say. Okay, well, then they're not going to get the promo. Vague conversations with your manager are the norm, but you cannot expect that that is going to lead to an actual promo conversation in 6 months. So you're going to need to gently push back on it with your manager and say, hey, here's how I'm thinking of evaluating it from a quantitative perspective. What do you think? Am I off base? You're not saying this is the exact right approach. You're saying, here's how I'm thinking about it. And you use all the elements from this video that we've been discussing. You title it Promo Doc, put the date, and then bring it up for a discussion with your manager. You can even give them a read for your next one-on-one agenda. Probably you have some sort of a career one-on-one scheduled, and if not, you should definitely have at least a monthly one-on-one career chat with your manager. Usually for those chats, the managers are not really going to prepare. They're going to do some vague non-sequiturs to you and just tell you you're doing a great job. But that's not specific enough. You're going to come in, you're going to send them a pre-read. Here's the Promo Readiness Doc. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. And they're going to be shocked, most likely, because nobody does this. But that's okay. You're going to walk them through it. You're not saying, hey, I must get a promo now. You're saying, I'm the type of product manager that wants to have significant impact and wants to grow in scope, responsibilities, and level of impact out there. If any of the concepts were not clear, or if you have additional questions, let me know down in the comments. Of course, if you are a PM who is looking for your next job, your next PM role in top tech or startups, or if you want our help to help you succeed on the job, then feel free to schedule a call with our team, PCA, using the link in the description. Otherwise, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.